Na 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 na. We won't suffer you through that again. Hey, Bugger issues, and we're
hey.
Wow. It's a day thing today, my friends. It's a day thing, as always.
An event.
Yes, it's our first
trilogy.
Exactly, it's our first attempt at a triple bill. We decided to skip the double feature and go straight to the triple bill, because why not?
Why not?
As always, the Back Issues team is here. We have Tim, Isaiah, Mel, and Braye, and today we are tackling Spider-Man. Sam Raimi's trilogy, to be precise.
Yeah.
One down.
One down. How's everybody's butt?
It's better now that I've moved around. I don't know if the smoke in the air in Vancouver has helped the
Probably not.
pain?
dulling the pain. Yeah, I don't know.
The
if it's
world is on
helped
fire
or,
currently.
Yeah.
Apparently
Maybe
we
it's-
have the worst air quality in North America at the moment.
Yeah. Calgary in particular. BC not so bad, but Calgary apparently has the worst right now.
Well, one more reason to be out of Calgary.
Welcome back. We're back in Vancouver. Yes.
Cool.
So we did it. We're one movie down. We watched the first Spider-Man.
That movie being Spider-Man.
Just the Spider-Man, nothing else. Just there's a hyphen,
Yeah.
right? Don't forget the hyphen.
There is a hyphen. So Sam Raimi directed David Koepp.
Yeah, David Koepp. I
David
think.
Koepp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
So he's a screenwriter and sometimes director.
Yeah. Tobey Maguire as our lead. Kirsten Dunst.
The
James
ever
Franco.
amazing Kirsten Dunst.
Willem Dafoe as well.
And James Franco.
Yeah.
So here I'm wearing a shirt that he'll like.
James Franco.
Rockin'. So, if you've listened to any of our previous sessions, then you know that we've done a commentary track for Spider-Man. If this is the first one that you're tuning into, hey, awesome, fantastic, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
If you're returning, welcome back.
And we've been building up to this.
Yeah.
This has been brewing an entire season, and we figured, okay, it was time to finally bite a bullet.
Yes.
This is the one.
This should be a Spider-Man season.
Yeah, very much so.
How about the hat?
Yeah, you did.
You're investing. Money's on the line.
$21.
I think it's come up a couple of times. We did Sam Raimi's Darkman in season 1, and there's every now and then Spider-Man has creeped in, and I've refused to say my thoughts because I had to save it for a cast. I didn't want to spoil another movie with the shadow that I feel about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. So
well, you're our token Spider-Man guy, so why don't you start this off for us?
Okay, yeah. This is going to be segment 1, what we like about the movies. So, nice and simple, don't really need to explain it too much. I'll try and be concise so I don't go too all over the place. I like Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. I think he really captures the essence of it. He works well within the confines of the script that he has. There's some really cool visuals as well. I think Sam Raimi really delivers some comic panels on screen that are just they say everything that they're meant to say about Spider-Man. And probably the other two things for me would be J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah. He's awesome. And Rosemary Harris as Aunt May. She is, I think, the best depiction of Aunt May that I've seen on screen. She's straight out of the comics. It's got that grandmotherly feel about it all. And
all the supporting casting is really good. I think. By and large.
I'll say that.
Best J. Jonah Jameson for any of the movies. They haven't put him in any of the other ones yet, really?
No. He's mentioned in The Amazing Spider-Mans, and they haven't got to him yet in Homecoming.
Well, how do you recast him? And that could be part of the reason that they've just decided to not put him in.
Yeah.
Right? The subsequent films are all very much just what isn't there in these ones. So
very much so. But yeah, that's what I like about the movie. I'm gonna just leave it at that. And there we go.
Well,
Next
okay,
up.
I'll go next. Yeah, I liked it. This came out when I was in high school, basically my senior year. So it has a very big cultural impact on me. I was never a Spider-Man fan, and while I do enjoy Arachnophobia, the film, the always lovable John Goodman. I hate spiders. So, yeah, bats. I like bats. So that's... I've never been into Spider-Man. I get that he's a more colorful character, but he was never my character. I loved the 90s cartoon. That's sort of my Spider-Man. And but even that, I think, wasn't quite as good as the X-Men cartoon for me.
Okay, but what about this movie do you like?
So for the movie, it's the casting. I like Sam Raimi, but this is not like by any means Sam Raimi's best film in my opinion. Like, I don't even think it's his top 3. But it's good. Again, the wide shots. I did like the costuming. Again, the set design has been great. I think the CG doesn't quite hold up, so it's a bit jarring. But the attempt, I would have preferred more practical effects. But okay, things I purely liked. J. Jonah Jameson is this movie. You can't get better than that. I think he needed to be in it more. Willem Dafoe was awesome. It's like you cast the perfect guy and then you block him, you know. So the mask didn't really sell him. He's I guess the criticism is a Power Ranger villain. Yeah, I don't know. The Spider-Man suit itself, I still think it looks the best of all the movie suits that we've seen. So again, the costume design. I don't know. Uncle Ben was good. It's more, I would say, like we keep calling it a comic book on film. To me, it's more of a storybook on film. And that's just, again, like, that's great in that it's iconic and it's really boiled down to just the essentials. But I mean, comic books are not just for simpletons, right? They can be complex. Mm-hmm. So it's both for me. But yeah, basically, I thought the characters were great. Kirsten Dunst, always awesome. All the casting was great. Everybody was well cast, except I'm not sold on Spider-Man. So Tobey Maguire, I like him in other stuff.
Save that for next round. Don't worry.
Yeah, casting by and large, the direction was cool. You could tell that the guy making this cared a lot about it, and it shows. And so I'll give props to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mel?
Yeah, I totally agree. Willem, just awesome. I could have just watched him for the whole movie as the Goblin, like monologuing for 2 hours, and I reckon I would have been like, "That's the best movie ever."
Or the one-man play off Broadway, right?
Yes.
Just him in the empty chair.
The spin-off. It just, wow, so good. For me, this movie reminds me of how I felt when I watched it, which was, wow, this is so big. It's on a big screen. It's colorful. Like going to the cinema was a really big thing when I was younger. It's not like you go every weekend. It was like when you go, that was an event. So just being there was exciting, and this was awesome. I love Spider-Man as well. So it kind of brought all that nostalgia back, which was really good. I enjoyed it. I don't think I'm the target audience, being my 30-plus self right now. I feel like the movie was made for a certain demographic, and I was in that demographic when it came out. And, so there's some things that don't hold up and definitely date it, for sure, which we'll get into. But overall, it was cool. It was a bit cheesy and gimmicky in parts, but it was cool. I liked it. Yeah.
What did I like? I'll try to be concise. I mean, what's not to like? Nickelback score. Macho Man Randy Savage.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yes. The wrestling part. Completely. Yeah.
But
What happened?
That was great.
In all honesty, though, it's hard for me to separate what I like about this movie from what I liked about it when I watched it when I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't hate Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. His mouth annoys me.
Listen to the commentary track. You get background on that.
2002, I think the visual effects were actually fairly good. Like, anytime they had him in costume, I'm looking at it right now, it's like, yeah, you know what? I buy it. It doesn't really look like it looks a little floaty, but for 16 years ago,
wow,
it's pretty good.
That's 16 years ago.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's hard because I'm really nostalgic about this movie. I don't know. Casting was great. JJ's great.
There is
Norman
a lot of
Osborn's
nostalgia.
great. I mean, even James Franco's fairly well cast as Harry. They just don't really do anything with him.
Well, this was his first like big breakout role too, right? Like he was
Yeah.
just on Freaks and Geeks, and then this, right?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. And he did quite a bit after this as well, where he was moving more into the leading man kind of position, and then delved back into the comedy side of things later on as well. So
But yeah, I think it'd be it would take me too long to put into words exactly what I like about the movie. It's easier for me to talk about what I didn't like because stands out a little more, but I like it.
It's a feeling, right?
Yeah, I like it. It's
Overall,
like
thumbs
for me,
up.
it's like like all the actors, like I enjoy it. Like it meant something to me as a kid, and it still does.
awesome,
Cool.
great. Okay, well we'll keep that positive note. I'm just gonna lock it away in the mind, and then we're gonna move on to segment 2, where we talk about what we don't like. And
Grab a pillow and sit
oh
down.
boy, someone
Get comfortable.
someone restrain me.
We'll go.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a time limit on you.
Me last? Yeah,
Yeah.
I better go last for this
Okay.
next round. Alright, stay tuned, guys and girls. Alright, segment 2. Okay,
Wow.
here we go. I'm going last, so somebody else take the floor.
I'll do it. All right.
Yeah, all right.
I just
I
talked,
like
but
it.
I'll do it again.
Positive energy.
What I didn't like about the movie, it's like, it's kind of diet Sam Raimi in a lot of ways, where it's like they didn't let him go hokey enough in my mind. Some places where it's like, if you're gonna do Sam Raimi, let him do Sam Raimi. Like the wrestling scene was like, yeah, that seems like a Sam Raimi thing, or like the silly like the mask of the Green Goblin, like rah, at one point is like a dream sequence for Peter. They didn't let him do enough of it. Like, there's enough touches of it. They're like, oh yeah, Sam Raimi made this movie, but just not enough of it where you're like, oh, Sam Raimi made this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
Like,
seems
they
kind of
kinda
out of place.
Kind of
so
like,
you-
yeah.
You gotta steer into it.
It crops up and you're like, what? Oh yeah, Sam Raimi made this.
Yeah.
You know, rather than being like, oh yes, this is a Sam Raimi movie. So like,
Embrace,
I
yeah.
feel like Sony kind of like muzzled him a little.
Right. But isn't
I
that
don't
something
love Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. I no, actually I like his Peter Parker more than I like his Spider-Man. His Spider-Man is just mopey. Like Spider-Man's supposed to be quippy and fun, and like he puts his enemies on edge or like on he pisses them off, so they're like, oh, they get off their game. That's more of a comic book thing, but he's mopey.
Yeah, the banter seems more like attitudey than
Mhm.
kind of like cheeky.
Yeah, Spider-Man's supposed to be cheeky, and yeah,
It's
and
very
it's
much
just
like one-line banter. Like it wasn't continuous banter that
Yeah.
was happening throughout. It was like he would
Just
say
had
one
zingers.
thing, and then it would go back to like
Intense drama.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
It's supposed to be more Buffy the
not a
Vampire
very
Slayer.
funny movie.
Keep throwing them out there.
Mm.
Every hit is a new line.
Yeah.
Right? Like the bank scene in the MCU in Homecoming. That is just perfect for
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah. But sorry.
But yeah, and just to put a pin on it, it just like it's got a lot of those early 2000s superhero movie tropes that it's like, you know, they've moved away from it, but it's product of its time, and we see it now, right? Oh, I wish they didn't do that.
There were no blue lasers in the sky though,
There were no blue lasers
which
in the
was
sky.
nice. So that's kind of nice. I guess
they do that in number 2.
Yeah. Is that called a number 2 now? Is that that's the trope? I guess I'll go. Yeah, what didn't I like? I didn't like the characterization of Spider-Man. But again, I was at the time, and even now, my default setting is the 90s cartoon. And so it was too different from that. But I wasn't like super connected to the character. So to me, it was just, oh, now we're getting characters besides Batman and Superman that are going to be able to carry their movie. So I like that, you know. And again, this was just coming after 9/11, so that was weird, right? And in my senior year of high school, so it's more the nostalgia and the cultural impact of the film than the film itself. But yeah, it's not enough of a Sam Raimi movie for me to like it as one, and it's, I don't know. I guess studio involvement. It's a little too like coloring book and not comic book, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I mean, you don't want to go hard R with a Spider-Man, but
No.
just even a lot of the dialogue, the jokes could have worked on multiple levels. You could have had some innuendo or, you know, something. And I really, really didn't like the characterization of Mary Jane. It's even worse now with like modern eyes. She's not even a character hardly, right? She's just like a foil for the awful boyfriend she's dating or not. So that's too bad because she's actually a great actress. I really like Kirsten Dunst and always have. So
Well, she's amazing in season 2 of Fargo. Like,
Yeah.
wow, I was just like, holy crap, this is someone.
and season 1 of Fargo was amazing, but how often does season 2 get better, right?
Yeah.
And it was. So,
so
like,
you know she can do it.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like very limited, unfortunately.
So that's what I would have liked to see some of that. And she played kind of like a Stockholm Syndrome kind of weird character that like what Mary Jane could have been like, right? So I don't know. I wonder if that was in the back of her mind. But anyway, if you want to come and do an episode, just let us know. The information's down here. Somewhere there. Or there. Whatever.
Now I'm gonna have to edit
Right
it.
here. Specifically right here.
But yeah, just a thought.
Oh, Mel.
My biggest hang up would have been, in general, a lot of the relationships. Spider-Man and MJ. I don't know if it was just this trope that they wanted to have him have this difficulty approaching her and making friends with her. Why I don't understand why they didn't just already be friends at the beginning, or have some kind of acknowledged relationship where maybe she's friendly with him at home but totally ignores him at school.
Well, they live next door to each other. Like,
yeah,
they've
but-
lived next door to each other for quite a while
And I think
as
that would
well.
have removed that kind of creepy stalker aspect that was
Yeah.
going on
Yeah.
there, where he's just kind of lingering in the background of her life.
Like,
Yeah,
you
because
can't
they have
talk to her.
backstory that's implied, but it's like we're only meeting her the first time.
Yeah.
Right? Like every time. It's
But
the
she's
first
like,
time.
I've known you all along. Like, or there's
Yeah.
that inference sort of there. Like, I would have loved for them to have this kind of maybe sibling kind of relationship, and then it's just hard to go beyond that into a potentially romantic relationship. And or like all of these romantic kind of relationships that she was having with lots of people. Like, I think they just needed to focus it on her lusting after Spider-Man, or her being in a long-time relationship with Harry, and
Right.
Peter being on the outside of that.
Yeah.
Kind of just pick one.
Yeah.
Is it Spider-Man? Is it Harry? Is
Yeah.
it
Flashback.
They both could have been even
Yeah.
like, what if they were a long time and they'd been dating for years, Harry and MJ, but they were like, both independently were like, I think it's over, but they don't want to end it because they're all
it's just,
friends.
they're just
Yeah.
in the gear, kind
Right?
of,
And
just
he's the
cruising
go-between.
along.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he could have been like, well, I can't do that.
And that would fuel so much animosity between Peter and Harry.
And
as
Harry.
well, if Peter
Okay.
gets in the way of that, making friends with MJ and yeah.
Totally. Nice. Well, I'm not going to harp on things that you guys have already spoken about, because I think the costume, for sure, I definitely want to acknowledge that. The Raimi thing as well, for sure. Relationships. The thing that loses me, if I can sum it up in one thing for this movie, is the story. I just don't feel like this is a Spider-Man story. I feel like this is just them trying to do a superhero story. You brought up Superman while we were doing the commentary track, and I get more of that feel from this than I get the feel of the whole team really knowing what it is that makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. And I think there's just a lot of missed opportunities. I feel like Norman Osborn as well was just slightly shy of being what it is that he's supposed to be. And I'm also going to touch on Harry Osborn as well. I feel like we've got James Franco in there. We know that he can do what needs to be done. Yes, this is an earlier performance for him, but I feel like he's not used in any way but to move the plot forward. He's like the Iron Fist of this movie, unfortunately. That's a terrible thing to say, but I mean, we're all thinking about it in Defenders. Harry a couple of times, is literally just there, and you're like, ha, plot.
Don't
Okay.
tell Harry.
Yeah, don't tell Harry. That's kind of the statement of the thing. So I'm not going to hop on it anymore. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, just listen to the commentary track, because I talk way too much.
Got a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. Well, this is only number one. We
Yeah,
got two
we're going
more.
deep.
And the next one is where I get real sore spots.
Now, see, the next one for me, they dial up the Raimi, and I like it more because of that. like that. Well, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
there.
We'll save that. But we're going to move into our reviews now. So we'll be doing our ratings. So stay tuned. Yeah.
Yeah. What's our rating system for Spider-Man 1?
Ratings.
Yes.
Alright. Okay, so for those of you joining in for the first time, this is a segment where we rate the movie. 1 is the lowest and 5 is the highest. We like to mix it up and choose something different that we're rating the movie for.
Stars are easy.
Well, we're inconsistent, so we might as well embrace it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what are we gonna use? What are we thinking this time around?
Yeah. Well, I think we got a
pretty
good
obvious.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. On the scale of available options, right? I think we have MJ's boyfriends.
Nice.
Right?
There's so many options.
So many.
All the differences.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice. I like it.
I'm
Who
gonna
wants to go
dive
first?
in. I'm
Okay.
gonna dive right in. I'm going to give it. Room to grow, room to fall, 3.5.
3.5.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'll jump right in. I was
Yeah.
going to give it the exact same thing.
Yes.
Oh, I'm in a good mood today. The chair didn't swallow me up, so my back is not as
We
sore
have
as it could
very
be.
subjective ratings. It depends
Yeah.
on how we feel.
Yeah, but I was
how
thinking-
sore your back is.
Yeah,
It's
whether a
like
chair is
generic
eating
Superman movie
Yeah.
starring
Yeah.
Spider-Man,
Yeah.
so it's like it's better than most bad comic book movies,
Oh, yeah.
but it doesn't venture into terrible bad, so it's not schlocky. Yeah, I 3.5 works for me. It's better. It's more than a pass. It's rewatchable. I would definitely show kids this movie. It's I don't know. I've probably seen this movie 20 times, and I'll see it again. So
Yeah.
a 3.5 works for me.
Okay.
Alright,
Nice. And so you're doing 3.5 as well?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Jeez.
And
fucking
just
firing this out.
to make Braye feel bad,
Oh,
I'm also gonna give it 3.5.
Oh,
wow.
MJ's boyfriends, just because like you said, like I've watched it before. It's not perfect.
So which boyfriends?
I was
Is
gonna
it
say, does she
Enrique? Does
actually
he count?
have 3.5 boyfriends?
She has 3.5 boyfriends.
She's
in
got
this
that
movie.
boss.
Totally does.
Does she?
Kind
Well,
of.
she's
if
got
you count
Flash Thompson.
Peter, Flash
Peter,
Harry.
Harry,
and
and then
Spider-Man.
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 is half.
and her creepy boss Enrique, right?
Oh, you
Right?
think that her and
Jabba the Hutt,
Enrique?
Maybe.
Yeah,
That
Jabba the
is
Hutt.
saucy.
Saucy.
Wow.
No, she likes
Braye.
some big boys.
Bring some
God.
perspective to us.
You guys just making me look bad over here. God.
That was our goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was okay, fair enough. Well, now I just feel like a dick if I rated poorly. But it's gonna happen, yeah. Okay.
Just look out for flying gliders.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, this is tough because this one I don't mind. I've probably seen Spider-Man 1 the most out of the 3, and I have to bear in mind that I have to rate 2 worse movies after this as well. So I've got to scale this appropriately.
You have to
So
leave
2
some...
goes down for you.
2
think?
goes down.
Oh wow.
2 goes down.
Oh, 2 goes up for me,
Yeah.
maybe. At least it used to.
God,
We'll find out.
Find out.
Find out.
Stay tuned.
Watch it.
Okay. Alright. You know what? Because of Rosemary Harris, J.K. Simmons, and Willem Dafoe, I'm going to give this one 2.5 MJ boyfriends.
What?
Yeah, 2.5.
Don't tell Harry.
Don't
Don't
tell
tell
Harry.
Harry.
Don't tell Harry. Indeed, I'm gonna sit in the middle on that one. I don't know. I can't quite give it a 3 because of the costuming. I feel awkward now after you guys teaming up like that. My God, I'm like the awkward dude left sitting out on the sidelines here. That's okay. I rated Return of Swamp Thing 4, so this is okay. This is my balancing
Yeah,
point.
he can
This is
be
my
nice.
balance. Yeah, I can be nice. I can be nice. It's just a little too near and dear and close to my heart. Okay. Wow, we really powered through that.
We did.
Okay. Well, okay, before the wrestling match starts, this is my representation.
And that is about as seamless as that scene
Seamless.
in the movie.
Yeah, okay.
See, practical effects.
Comes out
Yeah.
of nowhere.
All right, we're gonna move on to the oh man, I'm
Pitch.
thrown. Yeah, somebody else
We're
take this.
pitching.
The pitching.
Pitch.
The
We're
pitch.
pitching.
Pitching
it.
webs.
Oh god. Okay.
Oh.
Segment 4, part 4.
Yeah, the
Segment
pitch
four.
session.
Pigeon,
Okay,
pigeon,
okay.
pigeon,
Yeah, so for those of you just joining in, this is the time of the session where we pitch what we would have done differently to make this movie better. Or, you know,
Yeah.
not necessarily better, maybe
No,
just
definitely better.
our version of the story, you know?
Better.
Yeah.
Don't tell Harry.
Don't.
Don't tell Alex.
See,
Actually,
that's how you start the pitch. Like,
Yeah.
don't tell Harry.
Don't tell Harry.
And that's it.
Alright.
Does anyone want to go first?
Well, I would suggest
Okay,
that
great.
the script focus less on the idea of Spider-Man and more on the relationships and his world, like Peter Parker and him in his setting. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, we don't get any of his day-to-day life, right? Like him doing science experiments, trying to get a test in on time, being late for this, like all the
That
regular
kind of-
stuff.
There was a lot of like stereotypical like getting picked on and pushed and bullied, and then him revolting against that in the lunchroom and stuff. And like I think that all that stuff's relevant, but perhaps it could have been told in different ways.
Yeah. Like
I like also the sorry, what is the company's name?
Oscorp.
I'm having a brain fart. Oscorp. There just needs to be more stock in things, I think, and perhaps he could have been muscled out of his company, Willem Dafoe's character, right at the beginning,
Yeah.
instead of like leading up to that and jumping around that happening. It could have just I feel like the story just sort of was a real slow burn, and I think we could have just jumped right in
Yeah.
with some like
and the
some
background
preset
characters.
relationships, some really like bold
Like you said, the
ideas.
company, and it made me think of that guy. Was it Mr. Reese or whatever his name was from The Dark Knight that's trying to blackmail Bruce Wayne?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he stands out more. We have like 4 different guys that are just like cardboard cutouts.
Yeah,
you know,
the board
from
members.
Board members.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, one's in a wheelchair.
Right.
Like, that stands out.
But they're like always standing beside each other in
Wait.
the same like positions.
One's in a wheelchair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rolling right along.
Guess it didn't.
Maybe.
Guess it didn't stand
Wow.
out, but okay.
I did not notice.
Yeah.
No.
You
Um,
ableist. Okay, I'll go next. Yeah, so I would, like, starting right off, I mean, the story beats work. If you're just, like, you're Sam Raimi, you're like, okay, we're going to end with the bridge. We're building up to that same, you know, it's all the comic beats. But, okay, the character-focused stuff. So, you know, what if their teacher at the beginning is like, everybody needs a buddy for the field trip, right? So suddenly Harry's not buddy. Peter's thrust to be buddies with MJ,
they're
right?
pushed together.
And then, you know, maybe that's what gets him, they sneak away and he gets exposed to the thing. You get a little character beat there, you know, and then Harry's jealous that way. He's like, what? I didn't do anything. Like, you could have had some of that build.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we talked a lot more of the development with Norman's character would have been a lot cooler. Just, I guess, the counterpoint is Michael Keaton's Vulture, right? In the podcast, we talked about how the reveal that when he puts it all together, just driving his daughter to prom, that was so much more intense, and you know, you had the like bomb under the table. You see this, it's like you watch it on his face. This, it's just you sort of you think, oh, did the characters know that they know now, or they don't, and then they kind of act like they know, and then they don't, and it's very inconsistent. So just focusing in on that and less on the set pieces. And most of the set pieces felt borrowed from other movies. Like, you know, the plot's a Superman movie with Batman props, but, set it in the daytime. Okay, now it's Spider-Man. And so, again, focusing in on the Spider-Man stuff, more in the school. You know, it would have been neat if we, again, you suggested that he had to work at Oscorp, which would have added that whole extra angle, and you could have seen the relationships build. So just greater focus on the characters and less on the spectacle. But I guess that's just we're coming after Logan, looking back, versus they're coming out of like we just had 2 Schumacher Batman movies, right?
And Blade.
And Blaze and
Hindsight
X-Men.
is
Yeah.
2020.
Very
So-
much so.
But yeah, just more of a character story, and that's why I really like Homecoming, is because it's a John Hughes movie, right? It's just about a nerdy kids that get to go to the prom with the hot girl, and you know they go on a field trip and they go to a house party, and to me, that was always what separated Spider-Man from the other characters.
He's more grounded. He's more like, he's the one that's relatable, right? Like, he's the kid that gets bullied in school. He's the science nerd, but he's the science nerd that has this awesome, like, alter ego where he's loved by everyone. And it's kind of, it's that, the kid that's indoors all the time working and playing video games and doesn't feel like anyone understands him. That's what Spider-Man is meant to be. He's meant to be that guy that you connect with.
Like Harry could have been like, let's go to the beach, right? Or I'm working on my tan, and he's always like, you could have got more of that kind of thing, right? More characterization for Harry as well.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know,
Isaiah.
Well, I think I definitely would have shoved in more villains, try to set up a Spider-Man cinematic universe.
Maybe introduce like a James Bond backstory for his parents.
Made a James Bond style backstory for his parents.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh shit! This is
sounding.
This is 2010. Oh, I'm just pitching Amazing Spider-Man.
Ah, jeez.
But I think I've said this on a lot of these. Sorry. I really would have just like gotten, if the studios would just learn to get out of the way.
Yes.
Like if they'd let Sam Raimi make, because they kind of let him do it, and I know you hate the second one more, but they kind of let him do it more in the second one. They trusted him more, and then they reined him back in the third one, and we can kind of see like the quality dips there. If they just let Sam Raimi make his Spider-Man movie, I think it would have been more of a Spider-Man movie, because like this movie's, and I would have pulled out a lot of the melodrama. Like the stuff where it's like, go web, Shazam. It's like, that's funny, and that's
More
like
of
the
that.
only funny moment in the entire movie. It's a Spider-Man movie. It's not very lighthearted. I would have made it more lighthearted. Let Sam Raimi do his thing, or if Sam Raimi wanted to make a dark Spider-Man movie, be like, don't make a Spider-Man movie, Sam.
And it seems like it was meant for a younger audience as well. So melodrama isn't really.
Right. Is that when they were still trying to give like, oh, here's the thread for your like older brother or your parents that have to sit through it? Oh, it's just enough to keep you in your seats, but not enough to like change your life in any way, right? And it's, I don't know, maybe a blue laser that shoots down underground.
Oh my god, just get away from them.
Yeah.
Away from the blue lasers. No blue
A green laser.
But yeah, that's basically what I would like. Just have more faith in the character.
Nice.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of agree with where all you guys are going. Like, I don't know. The big thing for me is I feel like this movie is very disjointed when it comes to all of the characters. I don't feel like the characters are actually really all living in the same world. As silly as that kind of sounds, it doesn't feel like MJ, Harry, and Peter have like a friendship at all. Like, I don't really understand that friendship. So I think the way that I would have fixed this is, not fix this, but like what I would have liked to have seen anyway is Peter and Harry go to work for Norman Osborn. MJ is just the girl next door, and like you said, her and Peter have a friendship. They just, you don't have to have a love angle in all three of these movies. Like, build up to the love side of things. Don't have them get in love and then fall out of love continually. Listen to the commentary track if you want. There's a bunch of ideas that we threw out in regards to like what would have been interesting to see with Peter and Harry working at Oscorp, and I think that would have just been more interesting to see. Like, have more of a slow burn with Norman Osborn becoming the Green Goblin. Ideally, I would do this differently where the Green Goblin isn't the first villain that he encounters, but like if I'm just focusing on what this movie is and trying to sort of turn it into something, I would say just connect them at Oscorp. Have that be the place where they all meet and they all conjoin, and then everything happens there, and then that's how the story moves on from there, right? Like, no need to sort of have all these different threads happening. Just connect people a little bit more, because they seem very out of sync, and that's probably the thing that frustrates me the most with this one. So
I just thought of one thing that I think I would have done is I would have Gwen Stacy, and if you're gonna go Green Goblin, actually kill her at the end.
Yeah,
like, how crazy would that have been? To be like, this is Superman with Lois Lane and Spider and like Clark Kent or whatever, but then you kill Lois Lane.
Yeah.
And you leave her dead.
And you leave her dead. Kill
Right.
her after the
Yeah.
first movie. I think that would have been like the too revolutionary. Obviously, 2002, they wouldn't have let them get away with it. But you know,
That would have been awesome.
that would
Yeah.
have been
Really,
great.
really
Bold
cool.
and
Yeah,
you know.
Very bold.
Very true to the comics as well. You're not gonna piss off the fans. I mean, you might like scare off regular people watching the movie, but I think that they would also appreciate it, and they would go, "Oh wow, that's a really bold choice. Like I've never seen that be done before. Like that would have been
It
really,
could have
really
been
cool."
timing as well, though, like being so close to 9/11. Like
Yeah.
who knows how they fixed the ending of this movie, right? Like there were a lot of things that they cut. There was that trailer that I don't think it's even on YouTube anymore, right? Of the two towers with the web in between. And
I remember
Yeah.
seeing that trailer on like
it was neat.
Old
Like it
iTunes
set up
and
like there are unique things about the Spider-Man character that he does, even to a casual fan, that Batman doesn't, right? Like the Batman would never string up a giant web. It's so ridiculous. But Spider-Man, it's not ridiculous for him at all. It makes perfect sense. And so that kind of stuff, embracing the character would have really helped.
Yeah,
And Harry's not a moron either. Like
No.
even like he's not like a slacker. He's not his character from Freaks and Geeks. So it would have been nice. Maybe he did have some strengths. Maybe he's the one almost saving Oscorp. He's the one showing up to the board meetings, really stepping up. But his dad doesn't give a shit. Never notices. Is only caring about what's Peter doing. How's he fixing this? Peter, I gotta show you something I'm working on. And slowly get it.
Oh yeah, you could have gone down there like crazy scientists,
Right.
like Road.
A little bit more so. So
Yeah.
there were a lot of
I
things.
love our the boardroom meeting.
Yes.
Like we pitched in the commentary track, instead of Norman being at the board meeting where he gets fired, he's in the lab and he's talking to them over speakerphone. And then they're like, well, they kind of cut him off because he's never present and he's never there. And then we get to see that goblin rage kind of happen and really see that character sort of start to become this like other side, this alternate ego, you know, that is like coming out and really taking over his everyday persona. Like,
Very
that would have been
Jungian,
really cool.
right?
Yeah.
The shadow side.
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah,
character,
shadow
right?
self, right? Yeah, and that plays in with the mask and all of that kind of stuff. We sort of had some of that coming up imagery-wise in the production, but
Maybe we needed that scene with Ben Stein, just explaining it.
Oh, hi. Thanks for watching Back Issues. You can like, share, subscribe, and we got links in the bio for you. If you want some more Back Issues, 'cause I know I do, just check us out. We got heaps more.